You are watching TFI.
So, if you've got a moment, just hit pause in a second and take a quick read over this. So to you, it probably sounds like the ramblings of a madman, someone descending into madness. To me, the author of this post, this brings back painful memories. This was written at a time when I was sick of using Vault Professional, or managing and supporting Vault Professional. My job at that time, and kind of still is to a certain degree, was to implement Vault Professional in big companies, replicate it globally, and then support and maintain that implementation, manage the administration, and then push Vault to its limits, really. And I hated it because it was like at every step along the way, Vault fights back. And I hit the wall around this time. And I hated it. And it was like there was no light at the end of the tunnel. And I lost the plot. And I really wanted to get out of this line of work purely because of the frustration that this product was just imposing upon me daily. But fortunately, I'm not going to unload my career woes upon you. But fortunately, over the last couple of years, there's been massive. This isn't new. This is a couple of years ongoing now. There's been massive changes within Autodesk around the Vault and Inventor team. And we're starting to see some huge improvements within Vault and Vault Professional. And this being one of them, because as of Vault 2021, this, amongst many other things, is now implemented in Vault 2021. So with this, and amongst a few other things, let's take a look at what's new in Vault Professional 2021. Let's take a look at Vault 2021. So I'm basically just going through the what's new document, and the first thing they've listed is find duplicates, which is a bit of a cheat mate given that was in Vault 2020, and you know it was. So it's not really new in Vault 2021, but I guess it's baked into the full release, which is that the benchmark now for what's new? I don't know. Anyway, never mind. I've already done a full video on the find duplicates functionality and how it works. I'll link that up here. In a nutshell though, the way find duplicates works is you tell Vault to scan a folder or a project or your entire Vault, and it will go and index every part in that area and then index the size. It's, in a nutshell, the size of the part, and it'll cross-reference the size of each part with the size of every other part, and it'll let you know whether two parts are the same size, and then you've got yourself a duplicate. The whole idea of this is to find out whether you've got two parts that are exactly the same in the Vault, because you don't want people creating and generating parts that they're exact when you've already got one in the Vault. So you want to try and eliminate that. So it's a massive problem in some engineering companies, especially mine. And then it gives you this duplicates dashboard in your Vault Professional client where you can see what percentage of your entire Vault is duplicated with something else. And then you can also generate a report, and then that's listed here. You can select one of the groups. Each duplicate is grouped. So in group 1, there's 3 duplicates. So all of these line items here are the same part, but they've got different file names, but it's exactly the same part. If it doesn't show you a thumbnail, that would be nice. Apparently there was a performance hit, and I get that because on my live Vault, I think we had something like 35 to 40,000 groups. So that was a big report. So yeah, but that's find duplicates. It's seriously useful, and it also spills out into Inventor as well. So you can check for duplicates as you're working. So you can go into a live assembly. You can fire up the Vault browser, right click at the top node, go to the find duplicates menu, and then say, right, I want to scan the entire assembly and then show me all of the duplicates. I've got to click this one here. Find all of the duplicates that are in my live assembly, and I'll go boom. All of these parts here have a duplicate in the Vault. So you can then decide, right, okay, so if we've got, like, say this washer here, if there's 50 of those washers in the Vault, we should probably pick one and make that the master. And then whenever we come across a duplicate, swap it out with the master. And you can do that. You can come into here and then you can just swap it out, go to the Vault, and then replace it with something else. Seriously useful stuff. So they did an amazing job with that as well. So yeah, that's find duplicates. I've covered it in more detail in my video that I linked up there. So go check that out. It's find duplicates in Vault 2021. And next up we have a feature which spills over into Autodesk Inventor. This one's really useful, but it's going to cause a lot of confusion because I thought it was something else when I first read it. It's called the out-of-date filter for the Vault browser. Now, when I first read this, I thought it was going to show you any files that are out of date, as in Inventor needs to update them. For example, you open up a part and it needs to be updated because someone else has made a modification to it and the geometry needs to be updated. You know, when you get the flash of lightning, because the part's out of date, you need to click the update button. That's what I thought it was. It's got nothing to do with that though. I think it could have been named differently. Anyway, the out of date filter in Vault is going to show you any parts that are in your workspace that are an old version or not the expected revision or something of that nature. It's still very, very useful. It just probably should have been called something different because I think some people are going to get confused with that. Either way, it still works. So what you do is in Inventor, you go over to your Vault browser and you click the little funnel at the top. Give that a click. And then in the bottom half, you can untick all of the filters and then select the out of date. This one's new. Give that a tick. And then it'll show you everything in your current open session that's out of date. So for example, the nose cone here on the front, that's an old version in my workspace. And then this one here is not the expected revision. So it's just going to scan through the entire assembly and show you anything that you had in your workspace, which was an old version, which is really useful for people. Like for example, on Thursday last week, I cleared out someone's workspace on a laptop. He had 50,000 files in his workspace dating back about 3 years. It was something 12 gig worth of about 50,000 files. That's what some people's workspace can be like. So yeah, you can imagine how many old files are in there, and it's very easy for someone to open up something and ignore the prompts and then accidentally check something into the Vault that's an old version. So giving them as many tools as possible to avoid that, to scan the data and make sure that they know that there's something old in the assembly, it's better than nothing. So that's pretty good. So that's the out of date filter. And then obviously to fix it, you can just right click on the file and then you can just do refresh file or get revision, and then that'll download the latest file and then put it in place. Same with this one, refresh file. And then that's it, all sorted. And next up on the list is a change to copy design. This is a bit of a small change, but it's going to put some smiles on some faces. Some people ain't going to give a monkeys about this. The smaller businesses, this isn't going to impact them much, if at all. But the bigger businesses, this is going to be huge. Copy design rules are now able to be enforced at a Vault level instead of the rule sets being on individual PCs. To demonstrate this, if you launch copy design, sorry, Eunice Irvin, I still don't like this copy design. Just don't. You're going to define, and then if you create a new rule set, so I'll just call it TFI 1, 2, 3. So this is a rule set that I want the entire company to use. I can then save this out, create new rules, 1, 2, 3, whatever. I'm not going to make a rule set, but I can now do a rule builder. You know, if I do a copy design and the part number is blank, put a part number in. If the description is blank, put a description. Those kind of rules for anything that's copy designed in the future. But I can create that rule set and I can now enable it and make it default for anyone in the company who launches a copy design. So I just happen to have another client here in the background. So this is a remote desktop on another PC I've got in my office. So I can log into this Vault here and then do a copy design, doesn't matter what file. But you can see that TFI 1, 2, 3 rule set is now inherited straight into this client because that rule set is system wide. So yeah, really useful for the bigger companies, not so much for the smaller ones. Some might use it, some not so much. But these are the things that in the past, tons of people really wanted done. They never got done, but now things are happening, man. It's a good thing, really is a good thing. Well done, Autodesk. Oh, mate, this next one, wow, absolute wow. Well done, Autodesk. It's late to the party. It's something that a lot of companies, including myself, have in the past already done ourselves, but it's like, fine, I don't have to maintain it now. It's in the product. It's the ability to find orphaned files in the Vault. Anyone watching this going, what do you mean you couldn't find orphaned files in the Vault? There's other people going, what are orphaned files? An orphan file is, if a file is in the Vault and it's not used anywhere, it's an orphan. So if you just model a box, right, or a sphere and just chuck it in the Vault, that's an orphan. It's not used anywhere. It's on its own. It's not linked anywhere. It's not referenced anywhere. It's an orphan. Generally in a Vault, you don't have orphans. They're not supposed to be there. Generally in a Vault, everything is used somewhere. that's kind of the whole point. Something shouldn't really be in there if it's not used somewhere else, generally anyway. Every part now in the vault has a new property. It's a system property, if you can find it by going into Customize View, Fields, and it's called Has Parent Relationship. And you probably wouldn't do this, but you can turn on the column, and then you'll get this new column here called Has Parent Relationship. So yes, you can visually see whether something has a parent relationship, and then you can find your orphans that way, but you wouldn't use it that way. The way you would use it, in most cases anyway, is you would do a vault-wide search in most cases. So you'd go search for all files in the vault based on has parent relationship. So I want to find all files where the has parent relationship is false. Add. And then find. And that finds me all orphans in the vault. So this is a test vault. It's small. There's very little in here. But you can see there's a drawing, there's a project file, and then there's a couple of design files. Generally, you're not going to be interested in things like drawing. Every drawing is an orphan. A drawing is the highest. It's the highest level in a structure. The drawing can't be in something else. So every drawing is an orphan. So you don't want to include drawings in things like PDFs, images, or that they can be orphans as well. So what you would then do is you would add in an additional criteria of, say, something like provider as inventor, or actually that would include drawings. So maybe something like a file extension contains IPT or IAM. And then boom, there you go. You got yourself a find orphan search. And then you can look at every single file in the vault that's an orphan, and then you can make a decision. What is that file? Is that something somebody made, chucked in the vault, and then decided they didn't want anymore, and they've just forgot about it and left it there? Or is it a file that needs to be actioned? Is it something that's something that so-and-so is working on, but they left the company and someone else needs to pick it up? Whatever it is, you never had the ability before to find them, but now you do. So that's the has parent relationship property, new in Vault 2021. Okie dokie, so I'm just going to read through the next couple of what's new bits and pieces, or else this will go on forever. So Copy Design now supports copying property values from the original file to any user-defined property in the new file. If you're heavily dependent on Copy Design, then you'll probably know exactly what that means, and you'll be jumping for joy at the sound of that one. It sounds like it's really useful for companies that are heavily dependent on it, so that's good. This next one, when I first read this, I wasn't sure how I felt about this, but after reading the Idea Station post, I've changed my mind on this. So in earlier releases, Vault could only be installed on a specifically named SQL instance, that being Autodesk Vault. It's now possible to specify the instance name both during installation and the creation of replicated workgroups. So basically, when you're installing Autodesk Vault since day one, you had to name the SQL instance Autodesk Vault, and the SA password is Autodesk Vault at 26200. It's that details which are embedded on any Vault administrator's brain till the day we die. Those details. And that, for as far as I've been concerned throughout my entire career, that's never been a problem. I've never had any issues with that. So up until I've read that post, I thought, why are they doing this? This sounds like it's just creating unnecessary problems by allowing people to change that. But after reading the post, no, I completely get it now, because it allows you to potentially have more than one Vault instance on a single server, which is very useful for testing, possibly. I haven't tried it out yet. Hopefully Autodesk have. But yeah, I can see why that's quite useful. And I think SQL managers and administrators like to go by certain naming policies and whatnot. So for memory management and different bits and pieces. So as long as it's not going to cause problems with migrations in the future, sure. Okay, that's a good change. And the next change is something that you've probably spotted, but maybe not. You've been looking at it the whole time. It's this little green bar running along the bottom, mate. It's the admin notification bar. It's to let you know that you're logged in as the administrator account. Because if you're a Vault administrator, you've also got your regular user account and you've got access to the administrator account. And on a daily basis, you're logging in and out of both accounts. And it's easy to forget and then stay logged in as the administrator. So to avoid that, and to just give you some kind of visible notification, they've put in this green bar on the bottom when you're logged in as the administrator. So it's useful for you, and it's also useful for anyone in your team if you've got people on your team that log in as the administrator as well, because anything you do as the administrator, there's no traceability of who did that as a person. Everything's logged as the administrator. So you can change the color of the bar. I've just wasted about 5 minutes of my life trying to figure out why it wasn't changing. it turns out that you have to log out and log back in. But if you've got tools, global settings, and then security configure, you've got this huge colourful palette of options here where you can set your admin colour bar as blanched almond. If you want to, you can have a honeydew colour if you want. Why? I assume this is some Visual Studio standard stock palette of some description. Let's have a dark orchard colour for the administrator bar. But yeah, it doesn't change until you log out and then log back in. And then you'll get your dark orchard colour bar. Okay. But yeah, I think I would have preferred the notification to be more in your face than just a bar on the bottom. It's still noticeable, but it's easy to overlook it and just gaze past it because it's kind of in your peripheral vision, and you'll zone out of it, is what I'm trying to say, when you're logged in and staring at sort of other items around the user interface. But it's better than nothing, and that's a good step forward. So it's just one of those sort of just do it sort of things, helpful nonetheless. So that's a good change. Next change is another one that I'm not about to demonstrate because I'd need to spawn a whole bunch of jobs that I'm not about to do. But you can now set the number of jobs displayed in the job queue to up to 100,000, where the previous limit was 1,000, which is, I suppose that's a small percentage of companies are going to get a use out of this. So if you've got a heavy reliance on the job processor, the queue is limited to showing just 1,000 jobs. You can now increase that to 100,000 jobs. I suppose you've got quite a busy job processor if you've got that many jobs going through at any one time, but it's possible, it's doable, and if that's you, well, you can now see all those jobs in Vault 2021. This next one, mate, I kid you not, I had no idea this was in. I haven't even tested this yet, and I'm about to just check this out myself, like live right now. But apparently, you can now enable a log that will specifically and explicitly log anyone who deletes and downloads files, which is it's a specific log for just downloads and deletions from the Vault. What? So apparently it's in the ADMS console in administration, advanced settings. So it's this here. Why is this not on by default? I don't know. Perhaps there's a huge performance hit on large vaults. That's going to be such a nuisance because if I guarantee you when you really want that enabled, it's too late. Do you know what I mean? When you really need to find out who's deleted a file, then you find out you had the setting all along and it wasn't turned on. That's going to be infuriating for a lot of people. So audit logs, right? So there's no logs at the moment. So what I'm going to do is hop on over to my Vault and then I'm going to delete a file. And then come into something and download something, get, and see if it logs it. Refresh. Sure. So user administrator. Okay, that is seriously useful. That's telling me that I deleted that file on that date and that time. That is really, really useful. So there's been times in the past where I've had someone, not mentioning any names, it was a mistake, but someone deleted an entire folder out of our Vault and they didn't know they did. It was an accident. We didn't know where the folder went. That would have shown it. So that's good. So if you go into your tools and then your administration, advanced settings, and then enable these two logs. I still don't know where the downloaded files are. Like I said, I've literally just found it out this very second. So I'll have to find that out later on. But they're there. You know about it. I mean, that's awesome. That is. Why is that? I think that should probably be turned on by default by the deleted files, don't you? I tell you what, mate, the Vault team have absolutely knocked it out of the park. There's another big hitter, stellar feature here. In object and lifecycle security models, there's now a download permission that you can apply a deny feature to. So, for example, I've got a lifecycle against a lot of these models and drawings. So you can see here, my engineering data is work in progress. I might want to deny anyone in purchasing the ability to download anything that's currently work in progress. Because you don't want your purchasing team downloading stuff that's still WIP, for example. You can't do that prior to now. So what you do is you can go into your Vault settings, go to life cycles, go to the lifecycle state, which would be this work in progress state, go to the security, and then we can leave that as blank. So that's sort of an implicit deny. And then we can go to add the purchasing group. Which one's the group? That's the group. So we can add the purchasing group and say that they can read, but they're denied the ability to download anything that's in the work in progress state. So, I mean, it should be more, it would be more rigorous than that. You know what I mean? You'd go across all of the states if it was going to be a proper security setup. But let's log in as purchasing and let's see what happens. We haven't tested this. This could just fall on its backside, but let's give it a shot and let's try and get something. You currently don't have the permission to download the file. Contact your admin for support. That's awesome. So you can now block the ability to download. There's been tons of times in the past where like we've wanted to give people access to the vault, but it's like, but they can download stuff. And that applies to a ton of different scenarios. So that's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. An explicit deny ability for someone or a group to download stuff from the vault based on objects or states or lifecycle states. That's brilliant. And another collection of new features I'm just going to talk about. Previously, changes to lifecycle state purge control would only apply to new file versions. So basically, when you're applying purge rules in the vault, it would only apply to anything that you added into the vault after that. But now there's a new setting called include existing file versions, which means that whenever you do a purge, it can go back across historical data. I'll quickly show you where the setting is. So I was just in there. So if you go into your vault settings and then into behaviors, life cycles, hop on over into the lifecycle state and then into the control area. It's this ticky box here. So it's allowing you to say, when I do a purge on the vault, purge the first and last version of all work in progress files across the entire history of that file, going back all revisions. And then you click apply. I'm logged in as purchasing, so I can't do that. I've had mixed results with this. I've had brief contact with Autodesk about it, Irvin, and I haven't managed to get it to work yet. Hit me up if you want to. You've got my vault. You try it. It didn't work. I did the ticky box on every single lifecycle state, did a purge, and my vault didn't seem to purge the versions. But my vault's weird. But that's there. It should work. I had mixed results. But yes, that's a new feature for 2021. Right, the next one is this is another. It's like a finally one, but it's really useful. Vault's had a thing for years where you've not been able to delete users, and they've stubbornly stuck by it because of history. So I need to log in as the administrator again because I can't do jack all. Logged in as purchasing, so let's log in as administrator. So yeah, when you're managing users in Vault, if you want to delete a user, you can't. All you can do is disable the user. On a live production Vault, think about how many people come and go from a company over time. Our company has currently 150 active Vault users, and the company's 20 years strong with Vault. We've got probably knocking on, I don't know, maybe 500 to 1,000, somewhere within that region of users in here. And they're all disabled, and a majority of them are disabled. And the list is massive. So now there's a new setting where you can just show enabled users only, and it'll just hide everyone that's disabled. Which is like, why is it taking till 2021 to put that in? I'm not complaining. It's just like, why is it taking until now? But it's good. That's what I was saying at the start of the video about Vault being so frustrating a few years ago because just simple things like that weren't happening. Something's changed a couple of years ago. These things are happening now, and it's making this a far better program to work with and to be involved with. So I'm so happy these things are happening. Well done, Autodesk, yet again. So this next one is the one that I opened up the video with. To most people, this is going to be meaningless, but to me, this is it's a big gesture. It's a signal change, and this one means a lot. It's the one that I put down on the table, and it's been fixed purely through my feedback, which means an awful lot because this very issue nearly made me change career, not an exaggeration. So for lifecycle state changes, the server now evaluates all conditions up front and returns a complete list of any restrictions. Previously, only the first restriction encountered was returned. So in a nutshell, what this means, in the past, If you had 100 drawings and you wanted to release a group of 100 drawings, but there was 50 problems within those 100 drawings, 50 drawings had a problem, Vault would say, I'm not going to let you release 100 drawings because this one drawing here has a problem. So you'd go, oh, okay. So you go and fix that one drawing and think, oh, we're good. You go back to those 100 drawings, release them, and then you get another error. So you go fix that next one, release your 100 drawings again, and you get another error. You go fix that one, and you don't know when that's going to end. You just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And that's what spawned this. Don't present me with one problem at a time when there's actually 50 problems. Vault knows there's 50 problems because it's hit them. It tried to release 100 drawings and it hit the 50 problems. There was an old marketing slogan which kind of added fuel to the fire for me at the time when this was going on. The old marketing slogan was "The Vault knows all." You know, it was what they were trying to sell Vault on in the past, and I had that ringing around my head when all this was going on. The Vault knows all. Well, tell me then. Tell me what the problem is here. But it didn't. It was like the Vault was playing with me. It's like I know what the problem is. I'm going to now make you guess, and you have to go and find out. It's like a riddle. It's like a game. I know what the problem is. Now it's your turn to go and hunt down all these problems in it. I can't put a number on how many hours of my life I've wasted, how much productivity I've lost through problems like this with Vault. But like I said, times are changing for the better now, and hopefully this is just the start of a lot more problems like this ultimately being fixed. And I'm going to show you what this actually looks like now, because it is such a small thing, but it means such a lot to people that deal with this day in and day out. So I'm going to force a big change. So let's go into life cycles, go into flexible release process, and I'll just do something ridiculously unrealistic. So for work in progress to review, let's make it so that we can't go from work in progress to review unless the revision letter contains Z. Obviously, the file revision letters don't contain Z, so it's not going to let me go from work in progress to review. So let's pick up all these files, change the state, put them in for review. It's going to block me. So prior to Vault 2021, if I selected details, it would have just shown me one file. It would have listed one file out of all of these. Bear in mind, this is a test Vault. Everything's in one folder. In a production Vault, all of these files could be scattered around thousands of folders. The references could be all over the place, so you don't know what you're looking for. Now, when you click details, look at this. It is so much better. You just get a big list of every single file that's got an issue. I can now print this out, make a note of this, copy paste this, go to every single one of those files, fix them individually, come back to the data set, and then just release it. And we're done. Such a small thing, but it's just going to make a huge difference. And it's not just about fixing this problem. It's about listening to the feedback and knowing what really matters, not adding in daft things which nobody really cares about. It's now about fixing the pain points. And for me, that's what made this such a good change. So another massive well done to the Autodesk Vault team for that. And finally, the headline flagship feature for Vault 2021. Yes, I know none of those were flagship. Well, and then this one is. It's what most people will be waiting for because it's been on the to-do list since day one of Vault existing. It's been on the Idea Station since 2012. And I think that's only because that's when the Idea Station existed. There or thereabouts anyway. The ability to customize the ECO email notification is finally here. It's like I'm saying it, but I don't believe it. They've done it. They went and finally done it. Vault 2021 added the ability to customize the email template for change order notifications. Access the setting from Vault, blah, 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 blah. You can customize the email template. You can customize the email template subject and body by including Vault properties. So, Vault Generate Email Customization, here since 2012. It is one of the most needed features in Vault Professional. And yeah, we finally got it. Tools, Administration, Vault Settings, Change Order tab, customize the email notification, and there it is. It's not enough. Sorry, mate. Sorry, lads. not good. It's not enough. It's probably okay for companies that are getting started on Vault Professional. It's probably okay for resellers who are going into a new company and they just want to get them going. Just there you go. That's just going to get you started. We'll pick this up in a year's time once you've found your feet. Beyond that, it's not enough. It would have been enough if it wasn't on the to-do list for so long and if it hadn't been made such a thing. Do you know what I'm saying? When it's been made such a big deal and there's been so much emphasis and a spotlight put on it, I think this needed to be better. So, right, this is an example of an email you'll get from the notification. It's not the best. It's not the best, is it? We don't get any changes to how emails are sent. We don't get any changes to the recipients of the emails. It's just the body and the content, that's all. So unfortunately, most companies who buy now, like us, who have already implemented something because they couldn't wait any longer for Autodesk to pull their thumbs out and do something about this doesn't go anywhere near superseding what we've already done. For example, that's Vault's standard email template, an example of. This is something that we've put together. You know, it's a nice tabled format. It's easy to read. It's got more information in there. It's easy to digest. It's got attachments in there. You know, that's all generated from the same area. When you compare that, which is possible, we've done that. And then you compare that with this, which is what the entire user base has been waiting for several years. It's not, in my view, good enough. So, yes, and it also in other systems such as ours, I can only speak for myself, but we've got, for example, when ECOs change to different states, you get pop-up boxes to say, I want this group to receive an email, this group to receive an email. Other ECOs going into this state, then this group of people need to know about it. And these group of people aren't even in Vault. They're just totally different. Go into Active Directory, look at this group of people, send them an email. Still don't have anything like that in Vault at all. So it's just not enough. On its own, standalone, it will be fine. But yeah, I'm afraid it's just the emphasis that's been on it for so long. It's an anticlimax in some respects. So kind of good. I don't really want to grumble, even though I am. But yeah, just are they going to build on it? I don't like that. When something's put into the product and it's not finished, but the excuse is used, we'll build on it in the future. I don't want to hear about it being built on. It should be put in finished. Anyway, that's Vault 2021. The rest of it, mate, was pretty amazing. Really, really good. Overall, this is an absolutely cracking release. Brilliant work. Well done, the Vault team. Overall, phenomenal. So if you're like us, if you're on Vault 2018 or Vault 2019, absolutely worthwhile upgrading and migrating to Vault 2021. This release brings in a whole host of worthwhile features which will really, really make a difference. Day in and day out to both you as an administrator and your users. So yeah, well done to the Vault team. This is a great release and I'm pretty excited for what's coming in to the next one after seeing this and also what's coming in mid-year as well. Who knows? So yeah, there you go. Thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do press the thumbs up and all that, the like and subscribe. If you don't, not many people who watch the videos to subscribe, so do get subscribed if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one, mate. Thanks very much. That's Vault 2021. I'll see you next time. Toodles.